Good morning, everyone. It's Kathy Champion, and you're back with me here in my craft room. And guess what? We're going to make a card. My son's birthday is coming up a week from yesterday. His birthday's on the 11th. So this video will not go up till Friday, so hopefully this card will already be in the mail by then. But I want to do something in a masculine card. So the first thing I thought about was this By the Dock stamp set. And I also have the coordinating dies, and this is the dies right here. And you've got the boat, and you've got the dock, and you got some oars, and a seagull, and a couple of frogs, and just really neat little stamp set, die set. And here are our stamps. And these are the red rubber cling stamps, and I love them because they always stamp so clear and so nice. But anyway, I want to tell you real quick, the only thing that we've got here that we're working with, this is going to be the front of my card. We have got quite a bit of prepping to do on this card, so we're going to work on that first. My card base is 8.5 by 11, cut in half at 5.5, and then we scored it at 4 1/4. So here we have a 4 by 5 1/4 mat that we're going to mat this card with. But I'm actually thinking possibly of matting it with this pretty yellow as well. So let's cut us a mat. I'm going to cut it the same size as this, and then I'm going to cut this one down, and I'm going to tell you why. I want this mat to be just really, really bright, and I think it will be with the with that yellow against that navy blue, and I think this is going to be really, really pretty. So I am going to cut this off at 4. And we're also going to use this yellow paper to punch us out a sun. So we're going to do it 4 by 5 1/4. And then that's going to go down like that. And if you notice that your blade is getting dull, which mine is, and you get these little hairs, just take a nail file and you can actually file those away so that your card doesn't look raggedy. Nobody wants to get a raggedy card. Nobody wants to send a raggedy card. But this will work, and it will sand down those little hairs. You can see them coming off. And once you do that, then you've got a nice, decent looking mat to go on your card. So let's cut this one down 1/4 inch. So I'm going to take it down 1/4 on each, on one side and on either the bottom or the top. Not both, just one or the other. So I'm just going to take it down 1/4. And now this is going to give us a nice piece that's going to mat right on top of that. And how pretty is that? I think those colors just really coordinate very well with each other. And now we are ready to start working on a card. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to lay this over to the side, and we're going to do some stamping. So the first thing I want to do is open up our stamp set. I'm going to pull out our dock and our little boat. I also want to take this little grassy area. We're going to need our water. We're going to need a little bullfrog. And let's go ahead and get a seagull or a little bird. And maybe an oar. And I think that's all we're going to pull off of the stamp set. And that's just about everything, except the sentiments and a little fish. And we could pull the fish off too, but we'll see. If we decide to pull the fish, we will stamp him. Okay, what is going to actually be stamped on the card are going to be these items right here. So I'm just going to move them over so they're kind of out of our way. I'm going to open up my stamp cleaner because you know we're going to need to use it. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to bring this and I want to stamp this right here. And then I want to stamp the boat right about here. We're going to do the frog, and we're also going to do the oar. And this is where our stamps are going to be. So I'm going to grab some stamp blocks, and I think I'm going to grab this one for the dock. And let's see. Maybe we can get that one on here about like that. And we're going to need a bigger one for the boat, so let's grab this one for our little boat. And we need a tiny one for our little bullfrog. Alright, so I'm going to move the rest of these out of my way, and I'm going to bring over the biggest one first, and I am going to take the stamp to the stamp pad to my stamp. And I'm going to ink this up really good. Just like that. And then we're going to stamp this down right about here. And I'm just putting some nice even pressure on it. And then there we go. That looks beautiful. Now I'm going to spray a little bit of water to activate my stamp cleaner. Because, you know, the stamp cleaner stays on the pad, so you don't have to always redo with more stamp cleaner. Just activate it with a little water, and look, cleans it beautifully. Alright, I'm going to leave that on the block, and I'm just going to lay it over here for right now. And the next thing I want to do is my boat. Now this one I'm going to take the stamp to the stamp pad, because this is a smaller stamp. But again, I'm going all over the place with that, because I want to get, and I'm going to stamp this at an angle right about there. Again, I'm going to do nice even pressure. Very good. And then I'm going to clean this one and lay that over. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is our oar, and the same thing, we're going to ink it up just like this. Very good. Clean it. We'll set that right there, and now we're going to do our little frog. And I'm just going to set it right here. Perfect. And there's our frog. Okay, so we are ready now to die cut these. So I'm going to go ahead, before I go any further, I'm going to put that up. Before I die cut these, I'm going to go ahead and color these. I think that we need to have a little bit of color on these. So I am going to grab the colors that I want to do for my dock. And I think for those I want to do a light, maybe the light and dark crumb cake. Let's start out with those. And I'm going to go with my light first. Let's make sure I got the right colors. Light and dark. Yep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my light crumb cake, and I'm just going to put down some color. You do not have to be so precise with these, because you want it to look a little rugged, maybe a little weathered, not quite perfect. So now I'm just going to do the color just over here and there. And we're going to leave that about like that. And then I'm going to come back in with the dark crumb cake. And I just want to kind of emphasize the edges here that looks like they would be darker. And maybe some of these boards through here that look like they're a little weathered. And these docks, these little pieces that are junting up. These are to tie your boat to. And I'm going to come back through and just ever so often on some of these boards, I'm just going to fill in the lines. Something like that. And we're going to go back. I'm going to fan this just a little bit so it will dry. Because the one thing you want to do when you're working with alcohol markers, you want to let one color dry before you put down your next color to blend, because it blends better that way. So now we're going to come back in with that light, and we're going to blend out all those colors, the dark with the light, and make it look seamless. Doesn't that look pretty? Now it looks like it's got the weathered wood. Let me bring that up a little closer for you. See what I mean? Very pretty. And I think what I want to do is I want to, let's do our little bird in a blue. And I think I'm going to choose the dark Balmy Blue. And we're going to have our little blue bird here. How about if we make him blue and give him a little bit of an orange tummy? I think that'd be cute. So I'm not going to go totally orange. I am going to go, how about if we go light pumpkin pie? I think that'd be pretty. And a little bit on his beak. Alright, I'm going back in for the pool party. No, I think I'm going to do the boat. How about a seaside spray? I'm going to go in with the light first. And I'm just going to color the whole boat this light blue. And I'm going to now we're going to cut this out so those little watermarks right here are not going to show. So I'm not even going to worry about coloring those. So now we're going to fan this a little bit. And go back with the darker. And what I want to do is in here where it looks like it would be shadowed, we're going to put a little darker. And then I'm going to go back in and do the seats. These little plank boards that are makeshift seats. And then we're going to go around. I'll tell you what, we're going to use the other tip to go around the edges of our boat. This just gives you a little bit more control with your marker. If you've got some little fine places that you need to cut or color, the little area here is great for that. So I'm going to go back along that board, really lay down some good color, And then through here, I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to come back in with the brush end of the light. And this is the Seaside Spray. And this was one of the end colors from last year. And there we go. Now I want to do the, I actually want to do the ore, kind of a brown. I think we might go back in and use the soft suede. And let's see if that's what I want. Yep, I think that would be perfect for the ore. And I'm just being careful not to go out of my line. And I think that looks really good. Now we need a little bit of green for our little frog, and I'm going to use the Mossy Meadow. This is the light Mossy Meadow, and I am just going to come in up on his legs, maybe down on his feet, a little bit right there and right there, and that's just going to give him a little emphasis. And I'm going to come back in with a lighter shade, and I think I'm going to grab the Old Olive, and this is the light Old Olive. And this is going to give just a little dimension. And there you go. These are ready now to die cut, so I am going to bring up the die cut machine. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut these offline, and when we come back I'll have these all cut out and we'll be ready to do some ink blending and some stamping on our mat, and we'll be ready to go. So I'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and as you can see, I got all of my pieces die cut. There's our little frog, and our little John boat, our oar, and our dock. Now, after playing with this stamp set a little bit, I decided that the boat needed to go right here, as close to the dock as it could, with this little rope looking like it's tied to the side of the boat. We used to have a boat, a little small boat. It wasn't a John boat. It did have a motor on it, but we docked quite a bit in and out when we would take the boat out, and we enjoyed it. So I know that you always have to tie the boat off to the dock or it will float away. So before we get started with putting any of this down, I want to prep my card. And in order to prep my card, the first thing I want to do is I want to do some ink blending. So you can see I have my Distress Oxide, and this is in the color Tumbled Glass, which is a very pretty light blue. Now I'm going to turn this over on the back side because I want to make sure I don't have any green in my brush, and it looks like it might have been just a tiny bit. I don't know if you can see it. But I'm trying to get out any color that might be down in there. And this is the best way to do it. Just rub it off on some paper and see if you are showing any signs of green or whatever color you used last. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tap this into my ink. And I'm going to start right here at the top, and I'm just going to swirl. Nice big swirls, because I want to put down a nice blue skyline. And I don't care if it looks a little splotchy. In fact, I think that's the look I'm going for because I really want this to look like a sky. And I think that looks really, really pretty. I'm going to go a little darker right up here at the top. I like the way that looks. I think that looks really pretty. So I am going to clean my, see if I can get my blue ink cleaned off of this. And I'll definitely take it over a piece of cardstock after the video. But I'm going to go ahead and clean up this ink that I got on my work surface. That's one thing that's so neat about having a glass mat. And this particular one doesn't do a glare like some of them do. So I feel very fortunate that I don't get a glare off of this one. Now if you notice where my brush moved off of the ink and it drug a little bit, I'm just going to clean that up so I don't get my fingers in it the next time I grab this. And let's set that over here. Now the next thing that I want to do is I want to use this piece of yellow, and I have a 1-inch punch, circle punch, and I just want to punch out a sun. And I think what I'm going to do is I want to put the sun right about there, but I'm not going to commit to put it down yet, because when I get ready to put it down, I'm going to put it on dimensionals, because I want it to kind of look like I want it to have a little dimension. So, and I think this is going to really help pull in this yellow background that we chose for the first mat. Alright, the next thing I want to do is I want to stamp this right here in the corner. I want this to look like it's just going off right here. Maybe even a little bit like that. I think like that would be good. Like that. Okay, y'all know I'm indecisive. How many times do I tell you that during the course of a video? Several times over. I'm just going to grab a stamp block and I'm going to pick this up, and I'm going to use a Smoky Slate. I think that's the color. Yep. So let's grab the Smoky Slate, and we are going to ink this up. And then we're going to set it down right about here. Nice press. Very pretty. Looks like a little shoreline, and that's exactly what I was going for. So we'll put that up there, and let's go ahead and close this ink pad. And you know what? This is one I don't think that I have actually done my little chapstick thing on. So I am going to just go down this track right here with that chapstick, and that's an old one that I don't use anymore. And that will help my inks to move onto that little track without hanging, which is a great tip that I learned from another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I saw this little trick, and I think it was Connie Stewart that taught me that. Wonderful little tip. Okay, the next thing that I want to do is I want to do my water. So in order to do it, I'm going to grab yet another stamp block. And for my water, I think I'm going to use Pool Party. This will give us a nice little bluish green, because we all know that if you're at the lake, the water is never crystal blue. The only time I've seen crystal blue water was in the Bahamas. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up on this right up to the edge. And these are just going to be little lines that we're going to put down that's going to imitate some water. And we're going to do it over here. And you just want to kind of go willy-nilly, because, and we're going to go probably up to about here. And you can see that I'm not making them even. I'm just kind of going over here and there. Because when you're dealing with water, it's just kind of everywhere. And we're just going to fill this in. About like that, and I think I'm going to come back over here and put some more in around this little grassy knoll, because we want it to look cohesive. And I think that looks really good. It looks like that the water goes out to meet the sky. I love the horizon. So now let's see. I'm going to close up my beautiful pearl Pool Party, and before I do, I'm going to do this one more time. I'm going to do it on this one as well, because I don't think this one's been done. It feels really tight. This will make your inks open and close so much easier. Just work it and then close it. That will work so great. So now what I want to do is I want to grab some green, because I need some greenery right in here to make that pop. And I think I'm going to grab my Mossy Meadow and my Granny Apple Green. These are kind of muted, but one is a little brighter than the other one. So I'm going to grab the darker one. And I am just going to draw a little bit over here and there, just to give that a little bit more definition. And then I'm going to come in with my lighter color, and I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to do some little specks, like that. Then I think I'm going to come in with this Granny Apple Green. This is the dark. Something like that. I'm going to come back in with this lighter one. And I'm just going to put a little bit more color in there. And we can put these up. Trying to figure out if I'm getting these back in the same or the right spot, and I think these go up here. And the Mossy Meadow goes right there. Alright, so now we need something that looks like sand, and I think for that I am going to grab my Crumb Cake again. This will look kind of sandy, sort of, kind of. And I'm going to go in with the light one first, and we are just going to make this kind of look sandy. Like the water has washed up a little bit. How about that? That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to come back with a little bit of the dark, and I'm just going to touch up some of these little rocks. Just like that, and then we're going to go back over it with the lighter color. And again, I'm going to fan this just to help dry it. And then that looks like a nice little sandy area right there, which is very pretty. I'm going to put these back in here. And now we need to go ahead and see about getting this put in place. And I think this is going to look adorable right about here. And we're going to put these on dimensionals. So I'm going to grab out some dimensionals. I think for this one I am going to put just a few of these bigger ones, maybe 3, and then I'm going to grab some of the smaller ones and I'm going to put those like right here, maybe one right there. And maybe here. Like that. And then we're going to do the same thing with our boat. One there. And one here. And let's see if we can get one right here in the middle. That works. And then maybe a little one right there. Now we have our boat ready to go down. We've got our dock ready to go down. So we need to decide where we want little Mr. Bullfrog to go. I'm going to put one small one on the back of him. I also want to get a couple on the sun. So I'm going to use these, and we're going to pop the sun up. And sun's going to go there, and dock is going to go right about here. And then the boat is going to go right about there. And I think our little bullfrog is going to go right here. And then we're going to actually stamp some seagulls or little birds, whichever what you want to call them. So I am going to go ahead and stamp this in the Momento. So we're going to have one flying across here. And we're going to have one maybe over here. Very good. Maybe we want one more right about here. Very good. And now we can put the top back on this because I don't think we're going to need this anymore. Let's go ahead and stamp down or glue down our little pieces and see what it looks like, and then we can go from there. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my little picky tool. And let's go ahead and turn this around and get it positioned like we want it. And I want it to come down as close to that as we can get it. Just like so. And then the same thing with our little boat. We're going to pull off our little dimensionals. And then we're going to glue this right here beside that dock, just like so. And let's get little Mr. Bullfrog. And he's going to be sitting right here at the bottom on that little grass. I love it. And now we're going to take the sun dimensionals off. All these little things have so much static in them. That's why I like to use my little pick tool to take them off with, but that's okay. And we're going to put the sun down right there. Now we need to get something that we can color our birds, and I am thinking that I want my birds to be a very, very pale. Maybe I want to make them a sort of a gray, but very pale. And this is the Smoky Slate, and I think I'm going to do my birds in this color. And that gives a little dimension to our birds. Now, as I told you, this is a birthday card for my son. So I have a stamp set that is pretty much a generic. I got this in Happy Mail from a dear friend. Nancy Boatwright sent me a beautiful package of stuff when I first started my channel. And I want happy birthday to go right there. Happy birthday to you. And let's see, that one will work. So let's pull off our little oar. And let's pick this up. And I'm going to use some VersaFine ink for this because I want it to be a nice, vibrant, happy birthday. And I'm going to come down to about there and stamp that down. Very pretty. Alright, now this is ready for us to put on our card base. So what I'm going to do is I want to mount it to this first. So I'm going to use some art glitter glue. Just like that. And you know, we put a lot of technique in this card in the length of time that we've worked on it. We've got ink blending, we've got some fussy cutting, we've got some punch art, we got some die cuts, we got dimensionals, we got some flat stamped images, and we did alcohol marker coloring. And how pretty. See how that really brings out the sun? I love that. I think it's so pretty. So now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to take some art glitter glue and I am going to attach this to my card base. Just like that. And I'm going to open it and I'm going to press that down right there. And how pretty. I love the way that's come together. I think it looks really, really good. Let's put my pen back in my glue, and then we're going to get a piece of white cardstock. I'm going to lay my stamp blocks up here. We'll put those all away after the video. But I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of white. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this to 4. Five and a quarter. And this can go on our inside, and I can write a message or I can stamp a birthday sentiment. And I think we're going to do a birthday sentiment. So I'm going to go grab some sentiment stamp sets, and I will be right back. Alright, I did not have to go very far because the stamp set that I pulled the Happy Birthday to You off of also had some other birthday and sentiments, and this one says, hope your birthday is filled with lots of friends, family, food, and fun. And then I pulled another Happy Birthday in a different font and said Happy Birthday. And then what I'm going to do is pick this all up on one stamp, and I'm going to grab my VersaFine. And I'm going to just come in and ink this up. Something like that. And then we are going to stamp this right about here. And press it down. And there we go. Beautiful image. So all we have to do now is, I'm going to turn this over, and I think I'm going to use a little snail on this. So I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal Plus. This stuff is super, super sticky. So, open up my card, and then I'm going to go in to the edge like so, and over, and glue that down. And that card is done. How stinking cute is that? And talk about a masculine card. I think this is gorgeous. Nice sunny day at the dock with your little boat. The birds are flying around in the sky. The little seagull is sitting there on the post. You got little bullfrogs hanging out. It's a beautiful day. So I hope y'all enjoyed watching me make my son his birthday card, and this will be his 44th birthday. Oh my goodness. He will be 44 August the 11th, and my two girls will have a birthday on September the 30th. Yes, they both were born on the same day, 9 years apart. So my oldest will turn 46 because she's 2 years older than my son. And then Jennifer, my baby, will turn, do the math, 36 or 37. Let's see, 83. This is 2020. And 7, she'll be 37. Oh my goodness. Wow. My babies are getting old. I guess that means I'm getting old, but no, they cannot be that old because I'm not that old. Oh, I forgot to put the oar on here. Let's definitely do our little oar, and I want it to stick out like that. So I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, and I'm just going to put it right here on the handle, right there at the top. Oops. And I am going to stick it out the side of the boat just like that. Almost forgot the oar. We can't do that. So we are all ready to go. All I have to do is sign my card. I kind of sort of want to put something else on the inside, but you know what? I really don't think it needs anything else, because maybe the frog. I love that little bullfrog. He'd be so cute sitting inside here. So yeah, let's do the frog. Here's my little stamp. I'm going into my mementos because you know I'm going to grab those greens and color him again. And he's just too cute. Oh, and look at that. I must have had ink on my finger. I did. That's all right. I have a mono sand eraser, and we will go in and see if we can get that off. You know, that always happens. It seems like right at the end of getting a card done, you will forever put your fingers in the ink, or at least I do. And then you have a mess. But that's okay. I'm going to reach in here and get my little mono sand eraser. And what this does is it sands up a little bit of the cardstock. Just enough to take that layer of paper off. Just like that. And that looks really good. So thank goodness for these little mono sand erasers, because they are lifesavers. If you are like me and you are constantly getting ink on your finished product, this is the ticket. This is the item to have. So we're going to call this card done. I am going to grab this old olive, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to just do a little bit on his feet, a little bit on his legs, a little dot there, and we are going to come in and let's come in with the lighter old olive. And we're going to call him done. So now, we have finished this card, and I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. I'm well pleased with it, and I hope my son's going to love it. So let me close it back up so you can see the front of it. And I am going to attempt to get my pen back in my glue, which I did. I want to move this stuff off of here so we can just focus on the card itself. And I'm going to zoom y'all in so you can get a nice close look. Isn't that pretty? I sure hope my son loves this. I really do. I think it turned out gorgeous. And again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And by the way, if you are new to my channel, maybe this is your first time watching, maybe you popped over a couple times and you check my videos out from time to time, please hit that subscribe button. No one will bother you. No one will get in touch with you. You will not be notified or emailed or anything. There's a little bell right beside the subscribe button that says notifications, and once you click on that bell, you can choose whether you want some or all of notifications when I put up a video. And all that will do is it will shoot a notification to your computer or your phone, wherever you get your YouTube videos, and it will remind you that I have put up a new video. So that way, if you are one of those people that likes to keep up with me and see exactly what I'm doing all the time, that's the perfect way to do it. So ring the bell and choose how you want to be notified. I would certainly appreciate your support. I am trying to grow my channel, and if you have friends or relatives or anybody that's into paper crafting or would enjoy these videos, please share this with others. Also, if you want to just share it on your Facebook page, that would help me to grow my channel. So I just want to thank you so very much for joining me once again. God bless you. I pray for you each and every day. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. Until we craft again, God bless. Bye-bye.